So, welcome to our today's panel talk together with our product designer Felix Pöttinger. So very welcome you to our stand, like under the theme from objects to atmosphere for this year. As for us, as we're in the process of repositioning as a brand, like turning into an inspirational brand, it's very important for us to also adapt this to our assortment to develop more authentic, more inspiring products. That's why we are really glad to have you here on board and like to hear more about your thoughts, the process, and how you interact with light. So, very welcome, Felix Pöttinger. So, when you approach a new lighting design, what comes first for you? Like the function, the atmosphere, the emotion of light?
It's not a linear process. It's a circular process. So inspiration basically I draw from everywhere. Sometimes the starting point is a functional lighting aspect or technical lighting aspect. Sometimes it's an atmosphere or just a shape. Which is like that could be an interesting if you combine this with light. But I think it comes from everywhere. There's no like fixed starting point. It's more like a circular process where you come back to old ideas and you combine it with new ideas, and I think at the end, hopefully, something unique and powerful comes out.
Nice, thanks. And how do you define the role of light shaping a contemporary space today?
I mean, in my opinion, it's the most important aspect of space. I mean, if you just think about it, if you have an empty room and there's like very good lighting in it, then it's a gallery space. If you have like an empty room and there's like a terrible lighting in it, there's a prison, you know?
Yeah.
So it's, in my opinion, even before the materials that basically on the walls or on the ceiling or the floor, I think lighting is the most important aspect of a space.
So when we get in first contact, it's almost exact 1 year ago, I guess.
Yeah.
So I remember like our first like discussions regarding how like light should be developed. So you've been working closely with Maytoni so far on product development. What makes collaboration for you as a designer interesting from your perspective, creative perspective?
I think if a brand like Maytoni is open for new ideas, for innovation, and I think that's something you already mentioned, that Maytoni is constantly reinventing itself to stay relevant, and that's very important. And if that mindset is basically inhabited with the brand, then then they're open for new ideas, and we can have discussions about new ideas, and that's very important. For the collaboration.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's absolutely important like to stay open and also like give like you as a designer the more or less freedom to develop a product,
Yeah.
which on the one hand fits to our assortment in some way, but also like has some very authentic own approach again, right? So how does the dialogue between light product department, brand department shape the final product? Where do you see the biggest creative tension or opportunity?
I don't really see tensions. I see opportunities with that, because I think no great product is being created in isolation. So it's always about interlocking departments, interlocking skills. So if you are if you have a designer, you have to understand what the marketing department does. You have to understand what the engineering department does. And at the same time, they have to understand what the designer does. And if that understanding is there, then it's a powerful product. But if products are being developed in silos, then they are basically born to fail.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Lighting has become more than illumination. It's about atmosphere, identity, storytelling. Which trend do you think will truly shape the next, maybe also years of the lighting industry?
So it's just my personal opinion, which trends. Of course, there will always be material and color trends. I think sustainability will play a bigger and bigger role. It already does. Efficiency. But I think we also see a bit more technical aspect in decorative lighting. So things like dark lights, things like I don't know, like mirror reflector stuff that's been done in the 80s. Like this technical bits and pieces will transition more into decorative lighting. That's my assumption.
And what do you think about like how light can affect our like emotional level of well-being? Like, is there also like like kind of an observation you witnessed the last years, like how light changed the well-being, the mood of a person?
Yeah, I mean, with human-centered lighting, that's something that has a big impact on emotional behavior. But also, what we see, like light or light, and a lighting object doesn't exist in isolation; it exists in a room. And what we are witnessing is, that living spaces are becoming smaller and smaller, and that lighting has a huge impact on the well-being, of, like living in smaller spaces. For example, with like indirect lighting, pointed to the ceiling, it kind of visually just like lifts the ceiling height a little bit more, and this like tiny tricks, they just make a big difference in living quality.
So you more or less answered my next question. How do you see the balance between technological innovation and emotional experience in lighting? So
With technology, like I have a really rough stance because in my opinion, nobody cares about technology, but everybody cares about what technology enables. And I think that's a very, very significant difference. Because like people are not like, I mean, there's like people who work in that who are like super keen about technology, but for the end user, for the human, you want to connect a product with a space, and at the end, a product with people. And it has to be meaningful for them to be powerful.
So for us as a brand, Maytoni is like evolving, more focused on design, atmosphere, architectural thinking, of course. How does that influence your approach as a designer working with a brand?
I mean, I'm actually like what I already mentioned. There's this kind of like Maytoni really wants to push forward and really wants to reinvent itself constantly, and is always like asking what's next, what's next. And for me as a designer, that kind of is a beautiful thing because I share ideas more openly and more creatively, and I just think if a brand or if people are open for ideas, then it's easier to send them like a half an idea or a rough idea or like just a thought, and then we have a conversation about it, and then it develops further rather than okay, this is the thing that has to be the thing. So that's it's more like it's a liberating basically. Yeah.
And from your perspective, what defines a design-driven lighting brand today, and where do you see Maytoni's place in that landscape?
I think Maytoni actually has already a very good, a very good collection, and at the same time, there's this need of like, hey, we have to fill gaps, and we have to basically be better at every category, and I think that's a very powerful and useful, attitude to have. So I think Maytoni can have in the future even more powerful standing in the market with like filling the gaps and basically not just being a lighting brand, but like a solution provider for all the customers, but also AD community, architects, lighting planners, and even like technical lighting as well. And that's if you can do like a whole building, let's say like an office building, right? And you can provide every aspect of it, then that's a powerful stand to have in the market.
Thanks for your like thoughts on it. Now we're like going to finish our first panel talk. So with one of my favorite questions, what kind of light do you want to develop in the future? Is there anything you want to achieve, or like any dream project on your mind, on your bucket list?
For me, that would be a very, very big lighting family, because that's something, the complexity level is really high. So you have to design something that doesn't only work for one typology, but it has to work across like different topologies, and while being meaningful, while being very well designed, being attractive in shape and in material. And I think that's the complexity level is so high that I would love to do that, and I hope with Maytoni soon.
Nice. So maybe just one more last question. Is there a moment or a place where you experienced light in a way that truly inspired you or changed your mind in terms of like thinking about light?
I think, I mean, there's, to be honest, like these sensations happen in for me in public spaces, and I think that's also like it has to do with the contrasts of having a lot of spaces that are really badly lit, and a great example is the subway station Münchner Freiheit in Munich from Ingo Maurer, where he basically had a very experimental approach of lighting a subway station, and I think that would be one of the examples where you just like you don't expect it and you go there and you're like, wow, what's happening, and then but at the same time it maintains all the different like the important features like you like wayfinding, for example. It doesn't distract, just adds, and that's great.
It just adds some value. So thank you for your thoughts. Thank you for this first discussion with you. And afterwards, I would say let's just get in touch with like if you have any questions to Felix, feel free to reach out to him. He's around. And yeah, thanks for the first panel with you.
Thank you.